Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to introduce you to our topic, Unit 6 Take My Advice Writing. In this session, we'll explore how to craft effective advice in writing and discuss some key tips to improve your skills. We'll keep it short and engaging, so let's get started. Today, we're going to focus on our lesson objectives. First, we'll learn how to find advice and solutions within a text, which is essential for understanding how to help others or improve our own situations. Next, we'll practice finding notes about a letter correctly, so you can identify key details easily. Then, we'll work on writing about a problem in a text, which helps develop your ability to express issues clearly. Finally, we'll learn how to find friends and understand their problems, so we can support each other better. These skills are all connected to our overall goal of improving communication and problem-solving through reading and writing. Remember, the key is to practice each step carefully and stay engaged throughout the lesson. So let's talk about why he gained so much weight. It's important to understand the underlying reasons behind this change. Was it due to health issues, lifestyle choices, or perhaps emotional factors? Understanding this helps us see the bigger picture. Next, what was his problem exactly? Was it related to his physical health, mental well-being, or social circumstances? Pinpointing his problem allows us to better grasp his situation and the challenges he faced. Did he move to another city? Sometimes, relocation can have a big impact on a person's lifestyle and habits. Moving might have influenced his eating patterns, activity levels, or even his social environment. Now, let's consider the letter he wrote. To whom did he write this letter? Identifying the recipient can tell us a lot about his intentions and what he hoped to communicate or seek help for. And finally, who actually wrote the letter? Was it him personally, or was someone else involved in composing it? This detail can reveal more about his emotional state and the connections he had with others during this time. All these points connect to the overall theme of understanding personal struggles and the importance of communication in facing challenges. So what we're seeing here is that he's really struggling at school. He can't function well, which means he's having trouble doing his daily activities and keeping up with the schoolwork. He also can't concentrate, and it's like his thoughts aren't coming together clearly. He's not thinking straight. This kind of difficulty can be incredibly frustrating and exhausting for him. On top of that, he's feeling very unhappy and bored, which makes sense because when you're not able to participate or succeed the way you want to, it can lead to feelings of frustration and disinterest. And we can't ignore the fact that he feels isolated, like he's cut off from his classmates or the support he needs. Overall, these points highlight a significant problem. He's facing emotional and cognitive challenges that are impacting his well-being and daily functioning at school. This is a clear sign that he needs help to overcome these hurdles and regain confidence and stability. So, one of the first things he should do is try to make friends and then invite them to hang out. But often, only one person shows up when he invites them, which can be pretty discouraging. It's important that he deals with these situations in a good way, showing patience and kindness, even when he's ignored or rejected by his classmates. He really wants to show them his skills, especially in football, but unfortunately, he's not allowed to participate in the school team or even play football at school. This makes things harder for him to connect with others through shared activities. Outside of school, he should consider spending time with his family, going out with them, because he's not being invited anywhere else. To help himself feel better and maybe make new friends, he should try to have a calm and relaxed manner. Since he's the new student, joining study groups can be a good way to meet classmates and build new friendships. However, he's still not fully accepted by his classmates, which makes him very unhappy and bored. He misses his old friends and finds it difficult to adjust to his new school environment. Overall, it's clear that building connections and staying positive are key steps he can take to overcome these challenges and find his place here. Now, let's talk about how to write an effective advice letter. First, it's important to start with a clear and respectful tone. You want the recipient to feel that your advice comes from a caring place. Next, be specific and provide examples when needed. This helps make your guidance more practical and easier to understand. Remember to organize your points logically so the letter flows smoothly from one idea to the next. Also, always keep the overall message positive and encouraging, even if you're addressing a problem. Most importantly, connect your advice back to the person's situation, showing that you understand their needs. By following these key points, your advice letter will be both helpful and thoughtful, reinforcing the importance of clear communication in our overall theme. Thank you for joining me as we wrap up today's presentation. On this final slide, titled Conclusion, I want to briefly revisit the main points we've covered. First, we looked at the introduction, setting the stage for why this topic matters. Then, we explored Main Body 1, where we discussed the foundational concepts and key data points. Next, in Main Body 2, we delved into more detailed insights and practical applications. Throughout the presentation, the overarching theme was about understanding the importance of these factors and how they interconnect to drive success. As we conclude, I encourage you to reflect on how these ideas can be applied in your own context. Remember, the key takeaway is not just the information itself, but how it can influence your decisions moving forward. Thank you for your attention and engagement today. Have you ever tried to explain something complicated to someone, only to wonder if they really understood? That's a common situation, and it's important to recognize that sometimes simple explanations aren't enough. I think you'll understand if we take a moment to clarify and maybe even rephrase things in a way that makes more sense to him. But there are times when the issue might be more technical or complex, and in those cases, it's best to seek help from an expert. Remember, knowing when to involve a professional can save you a lot of time and frustration. So, if the problem persists, or if you're unsure about how to proceed, I recommend taking it to the computer expert. They have the skills and experience to diagnose and resolve the issue efficiently. Overall, the key is to communicate clearly and know your limits. Sometimes, a little assistance from a specialist can make all the difference. Let's take a look at the final slide, which is our workbook exercise on page 282. This is a great opportunity to apply what we've discussed today through practical practice. I encourage you to work through the questions thoroughly, as this will help reinforce your understanding and solidify the concepts we've covered. Remember, the goal here is to connect theory with real-world application, so take your time and think critically about each question. Once you've completed the exercise, you'll be better prepared to implement these ideas in your own work. And don't forget, this is also your homework, so make sure to review and reflect on your answers. Keep up the great effort, and you'll see the results in your ongoing learning journey.